We're going to be talking about setting up your stylist funnel today, which is important for landing and getting clients to book with you. We're going to talk about the process. We're going to talk about why it's important, some things that you can do to really set yourself up to look like a professional. In the meantime, Amanda, do you want to introduce yourself and Melanie, since we probably have some new faces here today?
I'm Amanda. I am a stylist and a mentor at Patricia's Salon. I have been in the industry for about like 7 years now. And the last few years working with Patty, I feel like my business has just completely changed. Following all of the steps and things that she says to do has been such a game changer. My business has grown so much, and I am super passionate about helping other people learn so that they can grow in the same ways.
I'm Melanie. I'm also a mentor and stylist at Patricia's Salon, and I've used a lot of the tips and tricks that you guys are learning in this system to help grow my business in the last 4 to 5 years.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're still letting some people in here. We have a really good group today. Okay, cool. So we are going to talk about the stylist funnel, and we're going to talk about the client process and how clients today are booking. So there are a couple ways that clients are going to find us when it comes to choosing a new stylist. And that's either going to come from Google or it's going to come from social media. Now, when somebody is searching for you on Google, they are actively looking for a new stylist or a new salon. So they are like ready to book, ready to try somebody new, ready to begin the process of doing the research to find the right person for them. Now, with social media, there can be 2 ways that this happens. One, the person just happens to stumble across your content and really connects with you or really likes your work, and they want to follow you. Or they are also actively looking for a new style in their area, a stylist in their area, either searching hashtags or looking up salons. I'm telling you, when people are actively looking for a new stylist, they're going to start with Google first. Then they're going to research, look at the website. The website, has to be aesthetically pleasing. Usually the website has to answer the questions that they're looking to have answered. And then after they are doing that, then they're going to go over to the stylist page, and then they're going to research the stylist. Then they're going to go to the stylist social media. So this is the process in which clients are actually looking for a new service provider. I think gone are the days of people choosing a stylist based on the salon. And then unless the salon has a solid brand, a solid expertise, like we specialize in extensions, or the salon has some sort of like main points, like they're clean, green, non-toxic, then the actual client is going to pick the salon because of the salon. Otherwise, they're going to choose the salon based on the stylists that work in the salon. So if you are not working at a salon that has a strong brand or has a solid or strong specialty or is known for something or has a solid purpose or vision, and if you're a salon owner on here, you should have all of those things. What is your selling point? What makes you stand out? How do you give back to the community? These are all things that you should really have on your website and really be talking about on social media, because this is how people are going to choose you as a salon. So the point is, as a stylist, you really have to have your client funnel set up, because that is what's going to land the client, and that's what's going to push the client to choose you in the salon if they're actively looking for a new stylist. So when it comes to your client funnel, your salon owner can spend all the money on Google ads. They can spend all of the money on Instagram ads. They can do all of the marketing, all of the external engagement. If you do not have your stylist funnel set up, clients are not going to pick you. I can tell you, when people call my salon, they already know who they want to see if they're a new client, because they've done their research. They look at reviews. They look at the stylist social media. They look at their presence. They look at their work. They look at, you know, the website, then, you know, they really, really do their research. So as a stylist, you cannot skip on your client funnel, because if your things are not set up, then they're going to move on to the next person, and they're going to choose somebody else. So your stylist funnel consists of a couple things. One, it's your personal brand. Each one of you, no matter what your salon owner's brand is, should have your own individual brand. What are your colors? And we know that colors invoke feeling. So do your research on that if you have not. What is your font style? What is your purpose? What's your mission? What's your specialty? Why do you do hair? These are all things that are going to compile what your personal brand is. You are your personal brand. And I can actually pull up statistics. I have statistics from studies that were done. And I think up to 90% of people expect every single person on social media, no matter what they're involved in, no matter what their industry is, they're expected to have a personal brand. So if you do not have a personal brand, this is something I highly recommend, because we're going into the 12-week program and you guys are going to be looking for models. Even if somebody is going to be a model for you, they're still going to check you out to see if they want you to do their hair. It's not going to be an easy thing, because hair is one of the most important things to women, and it affects tremendously the way that they look. It's literally the first thing that people notice about somebody, right? So your personal brand is going to be very, very important. Who are you as a stylist? Why do you do what you do? And how do you want your social media and your personal brand to represent who you are? Melanie and Amanda, do you want to go ahead and give a little, like just some examples and really share how you've created your personal brands for yourself? Because I think, Amanda, with you switching to my salon, really starting to focus on these things has catapulted the way that clients choose you and how you've rebuilt your whole business. You did it in less than 6 months at my salon.
Yeah. So, before moving, like making the move to your salon, I wasn't like super into social media. Like I did like have like a page, but I didn't pay attention to those things. And for those reasons, like I didn't have a ton of followers. I wasn't consistent with it. So I didn't like build a lot off of social media. But then making the move to Patricia's salon, she like stresses how important it is. And I've seen like other people that work there tell me how like they've built their business. So I knew it was something I needed to focus on. So like when I was creating like my image and my page, I try to keep everything like light and airy and bright. I like a bright, clean feel. I feel like that is like the kind of person I am. I try to showcase a lot of things like of my personality. As far as, you know, things I like to do in the salon and outside of the salon. I also like to post about not even just like pictures of the hair I like to do, but like things involving those kinds of like styles and stuff. So like if I'm doing like extensions, I like to also make videos and stuff about how like how to care for them, like tips and tricks for you know, keeping them healthy and style them, because I'm like really big on like educating and to make sure that everybody is like in the right place that they should be. And I try to showcase that as much as I can on my social media. I also chose like colors as far as like the little stories and stuff. Like I just do something very simple, like light, bright colors, because I just feel like that's the vibe I'm trying to give off. And those are the clients I'm also trying to attract.
Yeah, I feel like Amanda and I kind of brand similar. So I feel like both of our Instagrams are like very clean, and I don't like to post anything that's like too messy, because once a new client goes to my page, I don't want them to get overwhelmed when they click it. And then I also kind of post how I would like to attract like my target market. Like, for example, like my ideal client is like someone who like invests in themselves. Like I feel like I do like a lot of clients of like a Pilates studio. So I like post that you can like work out with extensions in. Like me and Amanda always post that you can work out. Then I kind of like dress almost to like attract like that client that I would maybe like, and I kind of like post like my get ready routine or like how I would maybe like put my hair up to like go work out. So then clients that also like do that would maybe be attracted to my social media.
I also want to remind people that your social media is going to impact the way and how much you can charge. So if your social media doesn't look like luxury, then you probably aren't going to attract the luxury clients. So really thinking about what you want to charge is also really, really important. And then if you do want to make sure that you are kind of, sharing your brand and it is more luxury because you do want to have an elevated price point, then you as a person has to match that when they come into the salon. So if you are posting things and everything looks super beautiful on your Instagram, like you're always dressed beautiful on your Instagram, and you want to charge an elevated price point and you're getting new clients, and when they come in, you're wearing sweatpants, your hair isn't done and your makeup isn't done, then you've already disappointed the client because you're not meeting the expectations that you're portraying on social media with your personal brand. So it's so much more than just posting like pretty pictures and pretty graphics. You really have to put your thoughts behind what you are trying to attract and what you want to charge and what your results are going to be. Like, what do you want your results to be? That is exactly what you should be really considering when you're creating your marketing, your brand, and your social media. So another thing I wanted to touch base on is your content and creating content, and then of course, being consistent with content. So I talked about the two ways that clients are going to be searching for you. I said Google, that's someone who's actively looking for a new stylist. They're ready to buy. But when somebody finds you on social media or comes across you on social media, they might not be ready to try a new stylist yet. So consistency and content creation is what is going to push them into sitting in your chair. So those are really the two ways that people buy. So if you're not consistent with your social media, consistent with your posting, you're going to be forgotten. And that client isn't going to remember you. And the more you post, the faster that potential client will sit in your chair. So it can take up to seven posts to create and build a relationship with somebody. So you can choose that in 2 weeks and have 7 posts in 2 weeks, or you can do that over 2 months. So it really is going to impact the way you build relationships outside of the salon. So consistency is really, really important. And then I love the way that Amanda touched base about educating. The things that we put out, one, we don't want to overthink it. We want to think simple. We have to remember that clients don't do hair. So the simplest tip can make a huge difference for somebody. So as stylists, we have a tendency to overthink what we're posting because we let other people influence us, right? People have posted this before. I don't know what to post because, it's not like the next best thing. When in reality, clients just want simple tips and tricks to help their everyday styling and just their everyday care. I remember the biggest eye opener for me was when we were doing a social media day at the salon, and there were 2 people there. It was my social media director and then my marketing director. And the one thing that they both struggled with was curling their hair with a clamp curling iron and not getting a crease or a bend in the hair. Like us as stylists, we're like, well, what do you mean you don't know how to curl your hair without getting a crease? Because we do it every day. But these are the things that people are struggling with at home. And those are the simple things that we should talk about, because those are things that people are going to try. They'll get results at home and be like, wow, she really helped me with it. That's great. I should probably go and sit in her chair. So you can literally Google like most common hair problems, styling problems, and Google will literally create the content for you. All you have to do is reword it and put it in a post using your words. So it's coming across showing your personality, and you have your social media done for you. And you can post it with a graphic or a picture. So there are a couple things that we need to do. We don't want to just post to post, because when we're posting just to post, we're just adding noise into the abyss of social media. So you should either be educating, inspiring, or building trust with your social media. So why are you posting what you're posting? How are you adding value, and how are you solving problems for the people that are sitting in your chair or going to sit in your chair? Amanda, do you want to talk about some of the educative posts that you have done that have been successful?
Yeah. So like I said earlier too, like I wasn't really into social media a ton before working in there. So I had a really hard time like coming up with content and like things that I thought people would find helpful. So one of the first things I did was I would just like, so a kind of client I attract, I like to do color corrections, I like to do extensions. I have a ton of clients that have like really, really thick hair, which is something I think that like helped me stand out a little bit more, because I know a lot of people struggle with like cutting or styling thicker haired clients. And I just, the area I worked in, I don't know, I just had a lot of like really thick haired clients. So for the first step for me is I would just Google like things, thick haired people struggle with. And then like a list of things would come up of like making sure, their hair is like washed properly, or like how to dry it faster. So those are videos I would like base off of, or like people that wear extensions or that are blonde, like keeping your blondes really blonde. So I just like to make like small little, a lot of times I post them on my story, but like small little clips of me just like, reminding people to like turn the heat setting down, and it'll help, from your blonde turning yellow, or, fluctuating a purple shampoo in, things like that. And I just feel like that helps me get a lot of new followers, because people are always looking for like a new trick to make their life easier.
So everyone who's doing the 12-week program has the list of the, areas that we're going to cover for technical, and everyone needs to get models, right? So that will give you your content right there. You should be posting about those things so you can get models to sit in your chair. So when a client's going back to the funnel, when a client is, seeing you on social media, they're looking at your posts, they'll follow you. Or if someone has recommended you, like say one of their friends is like, oh, you need to go see my girl over there at Opulent Beauty, Amanda, she's great. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to pull up your social media page. Your first 9 squares are usually what is going to either draw that person in or push that person away and say, this is not the right stylist for me. So there are a couple things that you can do. One, there's a pin option where you can pin the first 3 squares on your Instagram, and those will be saved to the top. And I love doing things like having a post that is you, like introducing you and who you are, what you do, what you specialize in, with a picture of you so they can see who you are. And then doing some sort of post on like how to book with you or booking instructions. So that is an easy process. They don't have to go searching for that. And then 3, you can really make it like, showcasing one of your best before and afters, but a picture of your work so they can see that, because that's usually what they're going to be looking for. And having those 3 things pinned to the top is going to add to that client process and that funnel. And it's going to make it so easy for them to get to know you really, really fast. So that is my recommendation for those 3 pinned posts. So underneath that, you're going to have 6 more. So really making sure that you're being consistent with your posts, your branding, so everything looks cohesive. I always like to say that you can either have a social media page that is like a beautifully decorated home. Have you ever gone into somebody's home and it's like stunningly beautiful, and you just like take your time going through because you want to look at all the details, and you really want to like take in the way that they've like really put thought into the way that they put their home together, right? Compared to going to somebody's house where it's just kind of like slapped together, there's no thought, you don't really care to stay, right? Like you don't really want to look around and hang out in a house like that, because it's just like, whatever. It's the same thing with our social media. You want information, you want things that are going to draw them in, you want easy to read, and you want to make sure that your graphics have the problem that you're solving. Struggling with, breakage on blonde hair, read this. Like it's very simple things. And carousels, you can, use carousels so that they stay and slide through. These are all things that are going to really entice people to set up an appointment with you. Now, next, we're going to talk about your link in bio. I highly recommend setting up a Milkshake website. It's free. It's seriously so simple, and it's going to make you look so professional. And it's also going to give the client the information they need to book with you. So have a little bio in there, have information on how to book with you. Any important policies, I would definitely have those in there as well. You can have pictures of your work, before and after pictures. But anything that's going to make the client process easier, again, is going to be key to getting them to book with you. And anything that they can read that will like build connection and trust with you is going to solidify that person sitting in your chair and choosing you as their stylist. Aside from social media, there are also parts of the client process that are really, really important and that will deter people from booking with you. Have any of you ever had somebody message you on Instagram and then they just ghost you? It's, maybe they changed their mind, or it's probably the way that you communicated with them. The way that you communicate with clients on social media is very important. The way you speak to them, the grammar you use, how you address them, the way you type things out, really, really important on the way we communicate. So how can you improve your communication so you come off as professional? Again, if you have an Instagram that's beautifully done and looks very luxury, but then in the DMs, you're kind of like annoyed that they're messaging you, or, like maybe you don't do DMs, so you want to move them to email. The way that we communicate those things is going to be very, very important in that next step of them booking with you. Amanda, do you want, or Melanie, touch base on communication? Because I know you guys do a lot of communicating via Instagram with your clients.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of mine reach out to me first through Instagram. So I have like a pre-made thing in my notes. It's not like for everyone, it's kind of like a sentence or two, and then I kind of customize it after, just so like the beginning part is really professional, and then it's the same like for everyone. And then I'll kind of just go from there then. So I have like a professional, like little like intro that I like to use when I answer people.
Yeah, having pre-made written captions and templates ready to go so you can just copy and paste is a great way to be just efficient.
Another thing too that Instagram offers is you can set up, I do the same thing pretty much that Melanie does, as far as just like having something kind of like pre-written out that sounds really professional, because it's not so much like thinking about it then. But Instagram does too have like an auto response option. So if somebody does send you a message, it can like automatically send out a response, like letting them know that like you will be getting back to them as soon as possible and things like that. Because I know too, with professional pages, I think this one's more on Facebook than Instagram, but like they will let the client know like how good you are at getting back quickly. So like if you're not somebody that responds often, like it'll say that. So I think having like that automated response of like, thanks for reaching out, like, whatever you want it to say, and like, I'll be with you shortly, is a nice way to like keep the client like knowing that they're a priority to you.
I always recommend pushing people to email, saying, oh, I'm so glad you reached out. I do all of my client corresponding and conversations via email, and then give them your email address. And then everything is in one spot. You don't lose clients. You don't forget to message them back. But having, messages in all different places can be overwhelming, especially when you start to get busier. So that's my recommendation. So being consistent, having a solid brand, having that website set up with the information that your client needs in order to really build trust with you and knows how to book with you, setting up those first 3 squares so that it really showcases who you are and really showcases what your specialty is, how to book with you, important information that they need to know, making sure that the rest of your Instagram is beautifully done and that you're not just posting to post. These are all things that are going to contribute to the way that clients choose you. And of course, being like adding value, being consistent, and making sure that we're not just like, throwing things out just to throw things out into the social media world. So there are a couple things in your dashboard. One, there are short videos on all of the things that we went over today. Very, very simple things that you can get started to set up your client funnel so that they can start really choosing you and that you can start getting your models booked. And then there are also some ideas for social media. We've got 30 days of stories. We've got 30 days of reels. I can honestly tell you, and Melanie, I'm going to have you share your story here about live videos. The more you show your face, the more you talk into the camera, the faster you will build as a stylist. There is no getting around it. So you not showing up is only going to prolong your success. And it can be intimidating. It can feel awkward. It can feel really uncomfortable, but usually the uncomfortable things are the things that you need to do to push you to your next level. And people want to see who they're going to be scheduled with. So, you know, like I said, your salon owner can do all the things to fill your books. But if you don't do your portion, then clients aren't going to choose you. Melanie, do you want to share your live story or your live video story with everyone
Yeah.
that I made you do?
So when I first started working for Patty, I had to do a live video every time that I worked. And I feel like when you're doing live videos, like even like now, like when I just post me like talking on my story, I feel like clients or like potential clients are more likely to swipe up on that because they feel like they almost kind of like have a connection with you versus like just like DMing you randomly. Because I feel like they already kind of like know you a little bit, like when you're talking versus just posting a post. So I feel like that really helps. And then I feel like people almost like look for your post like the next day if you're being consistent with it.
Yeah, so I made her do live videos on Facebook. Facebook is not dead. Facebook is a different demographic. So if you are not utilizing your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page, not professional Facebook page, because that doesn't work. If you are not utilizing that to get clients, you need to start because there is a whole demographic of people there that only use Facebook and aren't really on Instagram. So you can simply post the same exact thing that you're posting on your Instagram to your Facebook page. It's that simple. But you will get definitely more of I want to say like an older clientele and kind of like your bread and butter clients who like need touch-ups and things like that on Facebook. And extensions. If you want to focus on extensions, Facebook is the way to find people. It really is. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to touch on for your client funnel is reviews. You need to ask people to leave you a review. You need to follow up with your models and your clients when they're leaving the salon with an email that says, I hope you love your hair. Please reach out if you have any questions or if you need anything further. Here are the products I used on you. If you have any questions about those, please feel free to reach out. Here is the link to leave me a review. Google reviews and your booking website is usually the best place to ask for reviews. I hate Yelp. Yelp is it's not very effective because Yelp takes down a lot of reviews. Like we have 75 reviews on Yelp that are hidden because they're not recommended. Because Yelp really does want you to pay for advertising. And if you don't pay for advertising, they pull your reviews and they say that it's not recommended. I've called multiple times and said, I don't know why these reviews aren't showing. And they're like, well, if someone doesn't have reviews, then, you know, we don't consider them credible. But then if you look at their page, it'll show that they've made like 60 reviews. It doesn't make sense. The platform doesn't make sense to me. And usually when you ask a client for a review, they'll only go to one place. So Google does not take down reviews. Your booking page does not take down reviews. And those are going to be the places that people look as well. So make sure that they use your name in the review and make sure that when you get a review, also share that on your social media as content. Again, reviews and other people's experience are going to build trust much faster than, than anything else. It's like the number one thing that is going to build trust. Does anyone have any questions? Because nobody put any questions in the chats. We can answer them for you now. You can unmute yourself if you want to, or you can put it in the chat. Melanie and Amanda, I would say you two have the highest amount of reviews at the salon. Do you want to give some tips on asking for reviews or talk about the power of reviews?
Some of the ways I go about doing reviews is I like to send a follow-up email anyway to my clients, with, like a link to products we talked about. If I gave them any tips on how to, care for their new haircut or their extensions or whatever. And then I always throw in there, like, I would really appreciate, like, if you could leave me a review on here, there, wherever. And I'll sometimes tag that link too, because then it's just easier for them. Like, you want to make them writing a review easy. I have a lot of clients that like to leave reviews on Facebook, which I like too, because, then they post a picture of like themselves or a picture of the salon. But I think, like, as long as you ask, or, whatever, sometimes it comes up in the salon. Like, if they're saying, I love it here, whatever, I'm like, oh, well, be sure to, like, leave us a nice review on Facebook or something. And they always do. But as far as like the impact it's had on my business is a lot too, because like Patty said, clients do their research of like a salon or whatever. So if somebody like is recommending a salon, they'll go on there and then they read the reviews. And if your name is continuously popping up, I feel like they're more likely to book with you. And especially when clients are like posting pictures and stuff. Like, I have a really long-term client and she's great. And she recommended somebody to the salon because, she came to our new salon and loved it and whatever. And her friend was reading all the reviews and kind of realized that, like, maybe I wasn't the right fit for her because I do a lot of blondes and I do a lot of extensions. But another girl that works in our salon who, specializes in redheads and really short haircuts had a lot of great reviews about those things. And she ended up booking with her instead. But it was a perfect match because she was able to see what other clients had to say about that. So yeah, I think reviews are super powerful and a super great way to get new clients.
Yeah, I feel like doing the follow-up email, I feel like there's not a lot of pressure on it, because I feel like when you're in the salon, like, kind of bringing up like, oh, can you leave me a review, can be like a little awkward at first. So I feel like just like thanking them for being in the salon and then like leaving them like the link to leave a review or like the products, like you said, Amanda, I feel like that's a really easy way of doing it.
Yeah, reviews are very powerful. Again, that's going to be part of your funnel. So anyone that sits in your chair, don't be shy, ask for a review. I know we are gratuity free at my salon, so my stylists do not accept gratuity. And a lot of girls will ask for a review if somebody tries to tip them. They say, no, thank you, we're gratuity free. But what would really mean the world to me is if you took the time to leave a review on one of my review sites. And that is some verbiage that you can use too, if you are also gratuity free. If you are not gratuity free, that's something, again, that you can say, thank you so much for, for the offer. But what I would really love is for you to leave me a review. If you feel the need to take tips as a stylist, it's probably because you're not charging enough. Your prices are not high enough. That's a whole nother conversation we can have another day, but I'm going to offer one more time if anyone has any questions before we end today's session about your milkshake website, reviews, anything about social media, setting up your client funnel in that way. Okay. This is going to be recorded and it will be uploaded in the dashboard for, oh wait, what are the main things you can recommend to stylists to do daily who are struggling with getting clients? And show up on social media. You need to show up on social media. If you are not going to use social media, then don't be a hairstylist. I'm sorry. Don't do it. Because it's going to take you forever to build. You're not going to make money. You're just not. So if you can't get over using social media, then it's going to take you a really long time to build. Because then you're going to have to go by word of mouth. But how are you going to get those people to sit in your chair? So no matter what, you need to market yourself as a stylist. Your salon owner is not going to fill your books. And if your salon owner does fill your books, it's usually clients that aren't your ideal client and you're going to hate doing their hair. So my recommendation is, if you are somebody who doesn't want to do social media, then don't do hair. I know that sounds harsh and blunt, but it's the truth. So because it's just not going to work unless you want to work at like a Fantastic Sam's, or you want to work at a place that's just going to throw people in your books. And those are going to be clients who are going to you because you're a low price point, not because you're an amazing stylist. So literally, if you work at like a Fantastic Sam's, or if you work at, you know, like a Supercuts, then you're going to make minimum wage. And do you want to make minimum wage breaking your body and hurting your back and like hating going to work every day? You can make more money at Starbucks. You can make double minimum wage at Starbucks. So it's up to you. Like, you can either do the work, treat this like a career, and do your social media, stop making excuses, and then get the clients that you want. Or you can go to Supercuts, or you can go work at Starbucks. I don't know. Amanda, you worked at a salon that really like smushed your books, but you made hourly. So
Yeah. Which, leaving that situation, I was like on the cusp of just like leaving the industry altogether because I was so burnt out. And like, it was great when I first started because my books were being filled for me, but it was constantly with things that like I didn't love doing, and people that were just like coming to me because they could get in with me. And like, it was stressful. It wasn't a good time. I hated it. I felt like I wasn't making any money because I was getting paid hourly, and like, I don't know, like I felt like the salon owner was getting rich and everyone else wasn't. And it was a struggle for sure. And I just hated it, and I was over it. And I just felt like I would come home every day, my neck hurt, my back hurt, my knees hurt. And I had like nothing to show for it. And I was like, you know, this is my last ditch effort to try and like find a salon that does things differently, because like I did not want to stay somewhere like that. Granted, a lot of my clients followed me, but I've built so many new clients based off things that I want to do because of what I put on social media. So yeah, that's definitely how you're going to attract the things that you want to do.
do you want to share how much you made per hour?
Yeah. So it was, you know, she started us off basically at minimum wage, which like is kind of insane when, you know, you have a license and you paid to go to school. And, you know, I put the hours in being an assistant forever. And then to get raises was like insane because it was, you know, you had to follow all of these benchmark goals that every time you hit just kind of got higher and higher. And it got to a point where it was becoming almost unrealistic. And like, they would top you out at like 18 to like $23 an hour was like, you were, you know, doing really good. But in the long grand scheme of things, like, that's not what a hairstylist should be making.
How many clients did you see a week?
I was seeing like 8 to 10 clients a day.
So that was like 50 clients a week.
Yeah. And it was so stressful. And like at that point too, like, you know, salons that are like that, they have a very strict time standard. So no matter what, like I was booked on the half hour. So if the only thing I could get more time for, and it was like, I had to fight really hard to get it, even was a full highlight. And even then I only got 40 minutes to do it. So I got an extra 10 minutes. So with that too, you know, you're rushing so hard to stay in this time thing because then you're running behind and the client is upset and you're trying to please everybody and the front desk is upset. And so at the end of the day too, like you're just like not putting out your best work because you're trying so hard to like fit a standard and to fit a time. And it's so hard. So leaving there was, you know, great. And I don't think if you're in a situation that is like that, like there are salons out there that, you know, run way differently. And I was so hesitant to even come to Patricia's salon because it was so different from like any salon I had worked at or like any salon of anybody I worked at. Like the no gratuity thing really scared me because at my old salon, that was like how I made a living. Like my $17 an hour wasn't paying my bills really. The gratuity I was making that really saved me. So working in a salon that doesn't do gratuity was like terrifying to me. But one of my friends kind of works somewhere like that. And she was like, you just have to trust the process, like do it. Like it'll be fine. And I was going to leave the industry anyway. So I was like, what do I really have to lose at this point? And I just did what Patricia told me to do. And being so consistent, being on social media, putting myself out there, asking people for reviews, doing all of those things. And I am it's almost been 2 years since I left there. I am in like a complete different like element of life, even like working like that too. You're just miserable. Like someone could give me $1 million and I would probably find something to complain about because I was so miserable in my everyday life of like just running people in and out. Yeah, I don't know. It was a great move.
So that was working at a salon, not having to do social media.
Yeah, no. So, and like, they would like try to tell you like, hey, you should post on Facebook or you should post on there, but there was no guidelines to it. When people did post, it was literally just like a picture of the back of the head. There's no consistency there. It was so messy looking, like the salon's Instagram itself was just like messy looking. So they weren't attracting to, like, the salon I worked at was like a really popular neighborhood salon for a while. And like when I first started there, it was a bunch of younger girls and we had a lot of younger clients and we were doing like the things we like to do, like highlights and extensions and whatever. But then when social media like really came in and took over and we weren't doing it, we lost all of those people, including the stylists. Like the younger stylists had left and like they wanted to work somewhere that was cute and trendy and that were doing these things. And that salon towards the end of me being there was really just like a 4N touch-up salon. That's all it was, all older women coming in just for that. And not that that's not, we love those customers or those clients too, but it's just not what you want to always, that's not what I always wanted to be doing. I was over the touch-up haircut every half hour, 10 times a day.
And the thing with that is too, Amanda, when clients are choosing the salon and not choosing the stylist, guess what? When the stylist wants to leave,
they stay at the salon.
They stay at the salon. So this is another reason why it's important for all of you to have your own social media. So when you are ready to grow or move on or do your own thing, the clients are choosing you and not the salon. So it's important to like really build your own business inside of your salon owner, because no one wants to be doing touch-ups all day long. And no one wants to feel stuck someplace because they know that the client is loyal to the salon. They chose the salon and not the stylist. So this is another reason why social media is so powerful, so that the clients are choosing you and you're doing what you want to do. Amanda, when you are now, like, how many clients are you taking a week, would you say?
Because I do like longer services and we don't do double booking. So I can be there all day long and do 2 clients, or I can be there all day long and do like 5 clients, depending on the services, but probably never more than 5 in a day. And I work 4 days a week and I'm making more than double what I made at my last salon.
More than double.
And my body loves it. Like I'm not in like that pain all the time anymore either, just from, the constant moving. And I'm able to, like, I think working that way too is like so much less stressful when it comes to social media, because now like when my client is sitting there processing, that gives me a half hour to sit there and work on my social media. I know someone in the chat just asked like, how much time do you spend? I try to do it like when I'm at work, like I put myself in the mindset, like I'm at work, I should work. So like, even though I have like a half hour break or whatever, because my client's processing and I'm not doing somebody else in between, that is like when I take time to like maybe put something on my later app to like post for later, or look ahead at my schedule and see like what content I can come up with. So I think like doing little things like that. And then maybe for like an hour on a Monday, I'll play around on my social media to make sure it's done. But doing a little bit at a time makes a huge difference too, because then it's not so overwhelming. It doesn't have to be, an 8-hour day of you being super frustrated trying to find things to post and plan things. And that's when it kind of becomes like you're posting just to post. When you are in the salon and you kind of are looking at your schedule and you see what you have coming in, I think that's like when a lot of the posts become like thoughtful and you can tell the difference.
Yeah. And I think too, like, just get a little camera stand and set up your phone and just video you doing work every day. And you'll have more than enough content for reels, for your story, pictures, because you can take screenshots of certain things. Like, that is how you really make it more automated. I just wanted to answer one question. What are the main things you recommend to stylists? Any videos? We've got tons of videos in the dashboard. In the 12-week program, we literally have so many videos on social media in the welcome section. And I can honestly tell you, no video is going to help somebody. They have to work through the mindset. It's the fear of putting themselves out there. It is, it's all here. So they have to work through that to really start doing the social media, because there's so many things you can even find on YouTube. We have captions ready for you. We've got ideas ready for you in the program. We have templates ready for you. Literally all you have to do is plug in your brand colors and copy and paste, and it's done. So there's really no excuse for you not to do social media and to utilize what we offer. We're actually putting together like a private Instagram page. It's going to be called Reels for Stylists, and it's going to be incorporated into, we're still working on it. Give us some time. And it's going to be all real ideas for stylists for the Elevated Salon Owners Collective, so that you can just literally pick that reel and then use the sound, and the idea is already on the screen. So that will be done for you too. So really it's just working through the mindset of like being afraid to do the things. And it's more than just afraid of putting yourself out there. It's also the fear of getting new clients and like getting busy, because that's scary for some people too. They may not realize that, but like, think about when you're a new stylist, like the energy and the pit in your stomach when you have a new client, like that can feel overwhelming too. So sometimes, people are like, I want to be busy, but like, I'm really scared to meet new people. I don't like talking to new people. I mean, there's so much that goes into it that you really have to work through to really start really putting yourself out there. There's so many like different hidden fears behind it. So I say just start with the basics. If you are somebody who is afraid of new clients, then really work on your pre-appointment, which is sending out an email, getting to know the client first before they're actually in the salon, getting a current picture and an inspiration picture so you can go into the appointment with a game plan, because that's going to give you confidence. When you've already connected with the person via email, you already feel comfortable. Find them on social media, see who they are, really get a look of, what they're like. That's going to help you work through that fear. Okay.
Another thing that's like really helpful for that we do is our support staff kind of comes around just like during a busy time and just starts taking pictures and videos of us working. So like when I'm really busy and like I forgot to set up my little stand with my phone, and or if I'm kind of like in a time crunch and I don't really have time to do that, it's really nice when our support staff just walks around and does it, and then they'll just send us all the videos later. And then I just create an album on my phone of like a work album, and it's literally just pictures and videos of me blow drying, foiling, whatever. And then, when if you're going to make like an education video of, educating somebody that wears extensions, you could pair that with a video of you sewing in extensions. So I think like that comes up pretty helpful at times too.
Yeah, we definitely if you're in a salon, work together as a team. Everyone take turns going around getting videos. When I'm in there, I'll video people and I'll send it to our marketing director, or I'll send it to the girls. But help each other out. I mean, that's what is beautiful about working in a commission salon and working with a group of people, is like really having that team feel and thinking about the people that are in the business with you and not just yourself. And that's what makes a beautiful place to work. I can honestly tell you that my girls all love working together. They all help each other. They're always super grateful. If there's a question, no one's made to, feel stupid for asking the question, because we just have an open, like just beautiful relationship with each other. And we all literally want to see each other grow and succeed. And that's what you need to be like inside of your salon. No one is better than you. They're not. They're just at a different process along the way. So if you're jealous of somebody or somebody is jealous of you, that is wasted energy. You can absolutely 100% change that and transform that, and really, really start to build great relationships with the people in your business. So what is a content planner? I use Meta Business. It's free. Later is great. There's Planoly. You can use that one too. That one's great. These are all platforms that you can literally put the information in that you want and it'll automatically post for you. So you can literally just work on your social media for an hour on Monday and it'll automatically post throughout the week and then just show up on your stories. Because that, unfortunately, I don't think you can schedule that yet. You might be able to schedule that on Meta Business. I don't quote me on that, but I think you might be able to do that. Okay. So how do I attract people to my social media? So it's called external engagement. And the way that you can do that, because hashtags, I mean, I think hashtags are okay, but I don't think they're like huge like they used to be. If you're going to use hashtags, I would definitely use very personalized hashtags like your town with what you're doing, like Payless Heights Balayage, Payless Heights Stylist, and surrounding areas that will, you know, maybe draw some people to you. But using social media as a tool. So going on to, you know, your target market, like wherever that is, if it's, you know, local businesses that you know that the person that you want sitting in your chair is hanging out with, like Melanie, for example, she says she does a lot of Pilates people. So I would go to the Pilates studios in your area and look up the people that are commenting on the Pilates studios and then go to their page, like and comment, and, you know, send them a message. That's how you draw attention to you. That's how you bring awareness to your brands, is by being social on social media. Don't wait for people to come to you. You go to people. You comment in their stories. And every single person that you want to sit in your chair, you comment in their story. It's going to move that to your mailbox, move that to your general mailbox. And that's where you should keep all of the clients that you want sitting in your chair so you can interact with them on a regular basis. Hopefully that made sense. And I believe there is a video on external engagement. If it's not in the 12-week program, I'm pretty sure it's in the Grace Inside program. Okay, so we're going to wrap up today's session. I hope I answered everyone's questions. You know, honestly, 42% is not bad. That's not bad commission. Most salons in the area do 35%. And anything really over 46, 48%, the salon owner doesn't make a profit. So if you're making 42%, that's really good. People think that you can make more on your own, but most of the time when you're working in a salon, or if you're doing independent, like you're lucky if you make 50% on your own. And math is math. Trust me, I've done numbers. I'm obsessed with numbers, but it's really hard to make 50% on your own unless you're doing things that are illegal, like not claiming things. Then you can make more, but shouldn't do that, of course. After 7 years, still 42% is not bad. It's really not bad. I'm telling you, there is no profit after 48%. Like the salon owner can lose money. So it's a very, very small margin for profit, very small margin. It's, you know, salon owners are lucky to make 7% off of stylists. So if you feel like your salon owner is taking money from you, they're not. Trust me, it is very expensive to have a salon. Very, very expensive. So 42% is great. Okay, I'm going to end today's session. If you have any questions, please utilize the group, and this will be posted within 24 to 48 hours. And if you want to share any aha moments, please do. We'd love to hear them. We want to hear all of your growth. We want to hear your expansion, your transformations. Please share them with us, because it really does inspire us. And it makes this all worth it. We love really just helping and watching you all grow.